hearing, the Hot Italian sign.
And I need to recuse myself from that because I live across the street.
We should probably wait for Commissioner Steinberg to return. Oh, here he is, okay. The sign application is Arlie Cassidy's project. However, she is at a class tonight, so Miru is going to present this on her behalf.
Thank you.
So this is a major design review for two signs. One is to legalize an existing sign, and one is a new blade sign. The location is Hot Italian. If you may recall, this was the former location of an Italian restaurant, Fusio, in Public Market next to the Pete's. So this is the sign that you probably have seen if you visited the restaurant or been near Public Market. The sign dimensions are just a little bigger than what is allowed within the master sign program and what would be approved administratively. So it's a painted sign. There's no light on this, and it's a pizza stone letter pattern, and you can and uplights are directly below the painted sign. And this is what it looks like. This is the proposed blade sign. This does not exist. This will be new. And you can see the sign dimensions, and this will be white vinyl letters, and the bicycle will also be in a vinyl texture. And you have the black background. This will be internally illuminated, and it'll have about an 8-foot clearance. And this is the location of the blade sign in respect to the door. There are certain citywide design guidelines that apply to the signs, and they are to do with compatibility, consistency with the area character, visibility, and readability, and all the above guidelines are met by these signs. There's one additional guideline that applies to the sign lighting, and that is to discourage uplighting in order to require dark sky compliant fixtures. So we are recommending that any lighting installed for the painted wall sign be placed above the sign and directed downwards. And in the draft conditions of approval, we have included this. So like I mentioned, the maximum amount of signage that is allowed by the master sign program is, the sign exceeds it by about 1.3 square feet per linear foot, and that is why it's in front of you. So our recommendation is to approve the major sign permit with the condition regarding the sign lighting be directed downwards. If there are any questions, the applicant is here, if you have questions from them.
So the painted sign is existing? Is that
Yeah, so
And it's
this is
slightly larger than allowed? Is that-
yeah, it's slightly
Right.
larger.
Is it larger, or is it larger when you add the blade sign? I mean, the square footage when you add the blade sign is larger, but as it is, it's not, it's within,
That's right.
As, yeah,
It's larger to begin with. The letters are
No,
larger.
no, it by itself is okay, but when you add the blade sign, then it exceeds the cumulative sign area that's permitted.
The area, but what about the height? Is there a 2.5-inch difference in what's allowed and what's actual?
I think it's not a matter of the vertical and horizontal dimensions, it's a matter of the
Square
total
footage.
square footage. And also the width, I believe, can't exceed 75% of the frontage of
That
the
is
store. The existing sign doesn't exceed that either. Also, we note that the sign was put up without seeking approval, and if they had sought approval before they put it up, we could have told them to shrink it slightly, and then they wouldn't have to be before you tonight.
What was this question about lighting? Is it lighting of the big sign?
Yes.
right, let me see.
There's no lighting on the sign currently.
I thought there was a, if you look at your plans,
Oh, I thought,
there's proposed uplighting on the sign, and
There is proposed uplighting now,
but it doesn't show it on any of these plans.
nor does it
Well, we
say.
wouldn't
I
want
think
it
it says
anyway.
if there's future.
No, you can kind of see it on sheet number 2. There's
It says
black on
lights.
black, lights. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
Oh, I see, yeah, you're right.
So just right below, if you look at your plans, you can't see it here, but they're like here on page 2.0.
2.0.
Yeah, we got it.
We found them. They were hidden, but we found them.
The concern is that the lights are at the bottom pointing up, and they should be at the top pointing down, in order not to,
Well, if they're at the top pointing down, they'd have to go much further out and point back at the sign, wouldn't they?
Why?
Otherwise, they're lighting the path below it.
That might be what they're doing now. Who knows? It doesn't say they're
well,
up lights.
no, I
It
think
just
if
says
they're
they're
angled
lights.
towards the sign, whether they're at the top or the bottom, they're going to be at the same angle, pointing
Yeah.
I
toward.
think the whole reason for not having it at the bottom is that they would shine into apartment windows that are in the neighborhood.
No, it's dark sky. It's
Pollution. Light
light
pollution.
pollution.
Oh, okay.
Okay, are there any questions? Was that the
Yes, that's...
end of the
that was
presentation? Is
end of
there
my
any question for
presentation.
Maru? No? Should we have does the applicant want to say anything?
Basically, excuse me. My name is Dean Toll. I'm with Toll Graphics, and I'm responsible for painting the sign. Basically, what happened was the sign, we knew that we were supposed to be 91 square feet total for the space, and I was assuming that the painted sign was part of the whole master sign program, since it was shown on the drawings and so on. And so we applied for the permit for the electrical sign and felt obliged to put the wall sign on there to show the total accumulation, because when we measured up the blade sign and measured up the wall sign, we came out to 90.9 square feet, so we were fine. Where the mistake was made is that we didn't measure both sides of the blade sign, and it wasn't an intentional trying to sneak a big sign past. It was just a mathematical error, and we basically are within 96 point, I forget what the percentage is, but we're about 3.7% too large. So it's pretty minuscule, and you can see the last page of the drawings shows the existing sign versus what the sign would look like were it reduced by the 3%, and it's pretty negligible.
We are recommending approval. We think it's fine. It's just that it requires planning commission approval, because it's,
With top
well,
lighting rather.
yes, that's our recommendation.
Well, I'm delighted to see a sign that actually has front lighting instead of interior glow lighting. Wish we had more of them in Emeryville.
Any other questions, comments, discussion, motions?
Oh, is this public comment?
You might
Public comment,
want to
I'm
hold a
sorry.
public hearing.
It's a public hearing. Is there anyone, thank you very much for the information. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? No? Seeing no one, close the public hearing.
Move approval with top lighting.
I second that.
I would like to make a substitute motion that, or just making sure, I'm not sure if we need to make a motion, that in the conditions of approval, when a new sign is built, that it revert back to the master sign plan, or painted, if ever. We hope you're there forever, right? Because I noticed on F, right, compliance with approvals, application to successors in interest, the conditions shall apply to any successor in interest in the property. So would it be wise to say that it needs to revert back to the master sign program if a new sign is installed? Or would they be granted the grandfather of their 3.6%?
Well, typically, I haven't really thought about that, but typically when a sign is approved by the planning commission and then someone proposes to swap it out with a different sign of the same size that would normally require planning commission approval, we consider that a substitution of an existing sign that was already planning commission approved, and we typically would approve that then at a staff level without bringing it back to the commission. So I think that would probably happen here as well, so it might be wise to include that in the conditions if you think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Or any future sign that exceeds the master sign program needs to come back to the commission for approval, something like that.
So it doesn't continue to balloon and balloon.
Well,
with
we
each
wouldn't let it be any bigger at a staff level, but we would let it be the same size.
Just to clarify, if they had met the master sign requirements, they wouldn't be here now.
Right, and actually, they could have done that if they just didn't put up the blade sign. However, blade signs, well, the way our current code is written anyway, blade signs all require planning commission approval. So they would have been before you for the blade sign.
Anyway,
I like blade signs.
I do too.
Pedestrian
I'll
oriented
second the amended motion.
with the downlighting, yeah.
So you're accepting that as a friendly amendment to your motion.
Yeah.
That was seconded by Commissioner Steinberg,
Yes.
right? And the seconder also accepts it? You get the amendment? All right, you ready?
Ready?
Commissioner Cardoza?
Aye.
Commissioner Kummerly?
Aye.
Commissioner Steinberg?
Yes?
Vice Chair Flores?
Yes.
Chair Donaldson?
Aye.
5 ayes, the application is approved. This decision may be appealed to the City Council within 15 days.